Ever since the Ironheart trailer disaster went viral, those over at Disney, including the many executives, Disney CEO Bob Iger, the board of directors, even Kevin Feige over at Marvel Studios, they are all in pure panic mode right now. Now, we all know that they've been hiding this trailer for many months at this point, and they finally decided to drop it, and this happened just yesterday, and it was ratioed across the board. Nobody likes this thing, nobody wants to see this thing, quite frankly, because it's the typical Disney agenda, the messaging, everything to do with DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and really not focusing on pure entertainment at the end of the day. Now, we know that Disney CEO Bob Iger is trying to do whatever he can to go into damage control over Ironheart, just as he did with Snow White, just as he did with the Acolyte series in 2024. That was another major problem, by the way. We'll have a lot more to talk about that as the day goes on, but what's interesting here has a lot more to do with Disney CEO Bob Iger and what he had to deliver when it comes down to Ironheart. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. Now, one thing about Bob Iger is that, yes, we know that he is going to do everything that he can to save this series, to really make it seem like that, well, there's nothing really going on here when it comes to Ironheart, and based on how Marvel has been promoting this thing so far, it has not been good so far at all. We know that they are using this character, Riri Williams, aka Ironheart, as this dumpster diver of sorts that actually, takes a lot of these spare parts and becomes a new Iron Man, quote unquote, essentially. Now, yes, this is based on the comics. There are comics that do focus on Ironheart, but was anybody really asking for this? No, honestly, nobody was. However, with the Ironheart trailer disaster now officially, of course, a thing, and finally released by the Disney company and Marvel after they had been hiding it for many months from the public, already the trailer is getting ratioed by the core audience, and even non-Marvel fans at that. Now, recently, however, CEO Bob Iger decided to step in to defend Ironheart, and to no surprise, attacking Marvel fans by defending DEI at all costs available. Bob Iger delivered the following. Here at the Disney Company, we are more than proud to finally showcase our latest Marvel series, Ironheart. This is a series that will not only celebrate our values for diversity, equity, and inclusion, but we are proud to introduce a brand new character that is meant to succeed, Iron Man / Tony Stark, in ways our fans will never imagine. On June 24th, we will debut one of the biggest Marvel series that will embrace diversity at its finest. To those that are opposed to our support for the importance of DEI and calling this any kind of an agenda, we urge everyone to let this product of ours speak for itself and to not find their way into any false narratives that our latest program is about any kind of a message. On this journey into the story of Ironheart, we visit a character who aims higher than Tony Stark, who builds herself up into a woman beyond her expectations. We value diversity in a series as large as this, but what we do not stand for here at the Disney Company are those that label this series of ours as holding some form of an agenda or embracing a culture war. The Disney Company is and never will be about embracing anything like that. We felt it was in our best interest to find who the right new spirit is for Iron Man and that spiritual successor to the character, and what better way to do it with Ironheart. Now guys, let me stop right there for a second. So, not only is Marvel pressing on this time and time again, but now Disney is as well, that basically they're looking at Ironheart as the new, better version of Iron Man. And they want to get past Iron Man, they want to get past Tony Stark, and they want to focus more on this character. And look, this is definitely, and I like to keep comparing this series to the Acolyte show, because it's very similar about how heavily disliked it is before release, and basically how the marketing campaign is already beginning to ramp up by the Disney company. As with the Acolyte, of course, we know that this is a very big problematic situation for Disney and Marvel, alright? Back then in June of 2024, and ironically, yes, this series is dropping right around the same exact time that the Acolyte did, very close to it, but he goes on to elaborate further. As with The Acolyte, this is a series that celebrates and values diversity, equity, and inclusion, and in this case, we wanted to aim higher at Marvel Studios and what we could do to connect with those that come from different backgrounds to get into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We do not tolerate any kind of a negative behavior toward our characters' appearances or our new focus. We hope to rebrand the MCU, starting with Ironheart in a spectacular way for television programming on Disney+. And before I move on about what Bob Iger has to spew again, it's quite a shame that we have someone like Alden Ehrenreich, who's a part of this project. You guys may find his face very familiar. He played the young Han Solo in Solo: A Star Wars Story back in 2018. Alright, so Alden Ehrenreich is a part of this series, which is quite unfortunate, and it is kind of strange when you look at his face. You're just going to see Han Solo now in an Ironheart series, right? That's kind of like what people keep, seeing when they actually watch the trailer. But I think at the end of the day as well, this is going to backfire to a degree that we've never seen before. In fact, I think it's going to do worse than The Marvels. Even though The Marvels was an actual movie and it's going by box office, numbers and metrics, etc., this is going to be a ratings disaster. Very similar, if not worse, than the Acolyte series. Because, look, as we all know, if you're trying to prop up this character above Iron Man / Tony Stark, it's not going to work at all. And rest assured, apart from all of that, this is just terrible directing, acting, writing, producing across the board, because we know that there's been a lot of setbacks. They had a lot of trouble with the series. They had a lot of, reshoots. They had a lot of delays here and there. That's why this thing was supposed to release quite a long time ago. Even the trailer was supposed to actually debut around like 8-9 months ago, and it never did. They've been hiding this thing. They just want to get this thing over with, kind of just like Snow White. He goes on to conclude, starting off with a 3-episode premiere. Again, that's another major red flag for a series that's only 6 episodes. As CEO, it is my obligation to remain very transparent with our customers and shareholders, and I promise you all that there is no ulterior motive with our latest series, nor any kind of a culture war going on with our creators and Marvel fans. This series comes from the heart, and we felt it was the right decision to move on from Tony Stark / Iron Man and to embrace a new, better hero, to go on a new journey. We hope every one of our customers checks out Ironheart because it was as exciting as we demonstrated. So again, Bob Iger, he's going off the rails as well as really trying to damage control this show. He's really trying to prop it up as something so amazing, something that's gonna knock it out of the park and really label itself as one of the most successful series in the Marvel Universe. If anything, it's gonna be the worst Marvel series in the cinematic universe. I can almost guarantee that based on the ratio right now of what we're looking at, and I would not be too surprised if the dislikes raise all the way up until like 500,000, maybe even 600,000 by the end of the week. We'll have to wait and see. Again, we know that The Acolyte was a major disaster for Disney, for Star Wars and Lucasfilm. This is basically going to be that version of The Acolyte, alright? When you're looking at Ironheart, based on how people are reacting, based on how it really is something that nobody was asking for. But overall, I would like to hear what everyone has to say about all this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I'll catch you guys later.